Shatters, what is good? Today we are watching the BTS from Nobodies to Legend video. Guys, I know this video is from 2019, so it's a little outdated in the sense of, today's day and age, but it will be obviously from 2013 to 2019. So yeah, I'm excited to watch this. And if you guys want more BTS videos alike, please do like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me grow. And guys, I'm also starting a second channel where I react to whatever. So if you guys want to see that, please do go subscribe. The link is in the description. But anyways, let's get on with the video. Okay.
데뷔한 지 이제 오늘로 16일이니까 5일째인데요. 완전 생초짜신입니다.
무슨 거예요?
네, 감독님들이 정말 저희들의 이름을 모르시거든요. 신인이다 보니.
이 이름표가 없이도 저의 이름을 정말 아셔서 저의 얼굴만 보고도 누구신지 아실 수 있게 정말 그날까지 꼭 입어보도록 하겠습니다.
It's crazy because I've never seen RM with that type of haircut. But yeah, this is one of the topics around BTS that I know the least about, I would say. Obviously, from your guys' comments, I do know a little bit. I know that they weren't pushed out to the same extent due to funding and whatnot. But yeah, this is really my least knowledgeable topic with the group so far, I would say, for that kind of subcategories that, fits into what the group is today. Yeah, I really have no clue why their start was so hard beyond the kind of factors I was just saying of not being able to be pushed out by their label as much. And today we see that all the time with all these groups, having all the funding in the world to try and recreate this, right, recreate what they made. So you see I've seen a lot of girl groups, I feel like, in today's day and age that I've never heard of, but just have 1 million followers on Instagram. No shots taken, obviously. But it's just kind of something that they didn't have. And I do know that. It has been a struggle since day one. Low on budget. Sharing one room. Yes, okay. Yeah, see. This is crazy. Shout out to the Yo Gabba Gabba guy right here. But yeah, this image is engraved into my brain. This is, yeah. Ooh, cut from broadcasts. Told they wouldn't make it. Is that the that aged? Is that the most poorly aged thing of all time? Can we be honest? Does anyone know anything that's aged more poorly than that? Because their company was too small. Okay. Think of it, they're all from the start. By writing and composing for each album. Practicing for 12 to 16 hours a day. See, real quick, that is something I do also know, is that, they're obviously very hard workers, and I knew that, that could kind of stem from their early beginnings of, not having the same resources as everyone, as every group. I do know that, and it's something I still see today. Even in the most recent guide I'd watched, even though it's a little, outdated, made from a few years ago, they were obviously massive. They're, biggest group ever. And so, but it's still evident to their hard work, and obviously it stems from this. It stems from, the hardships and whatnot. And I love that, because it, they could really, just do nothing and still continue on this crazy route they're on. But no, that's just not it.
산이라는 말이 딱 맞는 게 정말 데뷔하면 모든 게 다 잘 되고 뭔가 괜찮을 것 같았는데 정말 또 더 큰 세상을 보니까 더 큰 고민을 하게 되고.
They were falsely accused of things. See, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Plagiarism? Chart manipulation? Okay, actually, I do see the comments, or not comments really, because obviously ARMY, you guys are so supportive. But there's been a couple hate comments, not regarding me in the BTS videos, but BTS obviously. That'll come with any group as well. But yeah, I see that stuff online, especially on like Twitter all the time, how they like inflate their numbers, like bots and whatnot. Uh, yeah, it just gives me a laugh a little bit, and yeah, it's funny because there will be a comment like that on this video too, but you can't really avoid it. But yeah, that is something I do actually see now that the video's actually pointing it out, being copycats. See, I didn't know anything about the plagiarism or like the copycats necessarily. But yeah, I have seen a little bit of the inflated numbers, botted numbers kind of thing. Criticized by the public. I mean, okay, this is insane. Imagine turning on your TV just to like flip them off, just like move on with your day. See, I will never understand hate because it's like you can just move on with your day. Like, why would you let something like, you know what I mean? And I'm no perfect person. I don't think I've engaged in anything to this sense necessarily, but I've trolled online. I've said my fair share of things, but nothing that like is dehumanizing or demeaning of another. I would say, to be honest, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, just taking your time out of your day is insane.
What? Shut the front door.
For wearing makeup? Is that what that was? Like everyone in that. Do they know that like everyone in this kind of like scene? Never mind. As a reach expanded. Multiple death threats, yeah. See, that's insane. Attempts were made to deter their success. Petition demanding BTS disbandment filed to the Blue House. Stands outraged at 2017 Mama results crash Blue House petition site. Wow. Yeah, no, I can only imagine the kind of death threats they get every day. Because it's crazy because I don't consider myself famous whatsoever, and obviously I'm not. I just have a tiny speck of a following online, from these videos and whatnot. And I've received death threats, which is funny, like 2 to my name that I've seen, obviously. But, I don't know, I kind of just laugh them off. It's kind of like, it's never that serious. But yeah, that's just insane. You can only imagine, like, you can only imagine. It's ridiculous. That hashtag plagiarism boys trended #1. Okay, I don't know if the video is going to go into this, but if it doesn't, it's kind of like a before hindsight, me asking this. What did this stem from? The hashtag plagiarism boys. What were they accused of plagiarizing? I don't know if it'll go into it. So obviously, if it does, But yeah, if not, please do let me know. I am curious about that.
환호가 끝나기도 전에 비난이 몰려왔다. 열심히 하는 것만으로는 아무것도 이룰 수 없을 것 같았다. 꿈, 열정, 노력은 아무 힘이 없는 것 같았다.
They persisted.
방탄소년단.
BTS!
방탄소년단.
BTS!
See, I'm still yet to see like a full-on like list of their awards, but from the comments, what I've seen is that it's insane. Pages on pages on pages on pages on pages. So yeah, I don't doubt it, obviously, but just when we thought the unwarranted criticisms would subside.
20-1 made some really regrettable marks about BTS.
When I first heard something Korean had exploded in America, I got worried.
Yikes.
I don't know. I think they look very nice.
That's insane.
Oh! That is not what you were saying during the break!
How did this become a thing in Western culture where all these grown men and little girls are off to little K-pop boys?
Listen, the guys were snubbed. They've broken all these records. They've had an epic year. They should be in all the major categories. I don't like the fact that they've separated them.
Sorry to interrupt you, Denny, but that's what
it's crazy because they constantly outsell American counterparts.
Yeah.
They outperform them, but they're still not acknowledged in the way they should be.
That is true. I remember a time when, like, I know they're not like a K-pop group, obviously, from your comments, but they're really, you know, I guess in the kind of Western culture, especially in this day and age, they were, you know, categorized into that. But like K-pop in general, I remember a time that it was like really like frowned upon and stigmatized. You know what I mean? But then obviously, you know, more people begin to listen and, you know, enjoy it, and it grows. But yeah, I remember I never really saw myself in this crowd because I used to like the stuff my parents used to listen to was like insane to me. And so I was never really like in that kind of crowd that like frowned against K-pop, didn't like K-pop, but like I never listened to K-pop before the past 365 days, you know. And so but yeah, I have like relevant memories of this kind of like, yeah, this whole like avenue of like this crazy. It's something I don't really think about, but yeah, like K-pop kind of in general terms, of, you know, how the Western culture saw it during this time. Yeah, they were definitely like, I see the backlash.
To maintain their identity, and there is a barrier there when it comes to the Korean language. Like obviously there's going to be some North American audiences that aren't going to have that rotation, and it's still an issue with radio. That's the big thing. Like,
but those things didn't stop BTS or ARMY.
I think they're like more enthusiastic than anyone.
Can you describe that enthusiasm?
I agree. ARMY is insane.
They brought a boy band from Korea to Grammys.
My next guest can only be described as an international music phenomenon. They have made Time Magazine's most influential list. They're the first Korean act to reach #1 on the Billboard charts, and they just became the first group since the Beatles to earn 3 #1 albums in less than a year.
Yeah, see.
This time, the 7-member boy band has broken.
I think I know that song, but I can't put a name to it.
The record for the best-selling album here in Korea. Now, this album released this April has sold 3.4 million copies as of May.
BTS had the #1 best-selling physical album in the United States in the first half of this year.
Becoming the first Korean artist to win 2 trophies at the Billboard Music Awards in Las Vegas on Wednesday. The awards were Top Social Artist and Top Duo Group.
BTS has been named the Group of the Year on Variety's Hitmakers list.
BTS performed at the U.S.'s most watched New Year's concert, New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Their upcoming U.S. tour is one of the hottest tickets on Earth. Even more remarkable, considering most of their songs are not in English.
The headline.
I saw this one funny comment. It was someone hating on BTS. I don't remember what they said exactly. It was a couple weeks ago maybe, but there was this funny clapback comment to it. It was someone hating about like being botted or something, inflating views. They're like, a BTS and ARMY was like, I wish they were botted because then I'd have an easier time buying tickets, and that made me crack up. I was dying laughing at that. But yeah,
And in 2 sold-out nights at Wembley Stadium, performing for 60,000 screaming fans.
다를 게 없이 큰 공연을 하는 것 자체가 우리가 여기서도 이렇게 공연을 크게 해요? 라고 다시 한번 되물으니까 그냥 우리 감성이구나. 처음 했던 악셀 콘서트는 한 번이면 2,000명이 들었어요.
That's insane. Even like 2,000 people. Like, since I've started my channel, like, kind of realizing how many people 2,000 really is, or even 1,000, even 500, you know, like that's insane. And now, I mean, just from this, you know, dialogue clip alone, 22 to 23 times more people. Insane. Wow.
그냥 어떻게 보면 뭐 기적 같은 수치 아닐까.
In my last BTS video, I was talking about, I asked the question like who was going to a concert, and for their most recent tour, because I didn't really realize how long their tour was until the video was kind of pointed out. It had so many dates, and then I hadn't seen the tour dates, like, to know really how long the tour was, how long, and I didn't realize that their show or their concert before was about 3 hours long, with them doing full choreography and whatnot. Do I need to make it to a BTS concert? I feel like I need to, at this point in my life, I need to make it to a BTS concert. Obviously, I am not, the biggest fan in the world as of yet, just because there's so many, avenues I need to kind of go in to really, know them and their music. I still have all of their albums besides their most recent one to listen to. But I'm slowly but surely, I'm in that rabbit hole. Like I'm in that stage where I'm like obsessed and I can't let go. I'm really getting into BTS. And I really do like their music, even their super big stuff that I remember, like Dynamite and Butter. Like, those are good songs. I know Army has some feelings around those songs and whatnot. But yeah, even those songs that I do know that aren't from the most recent album, which I've had on repeat, I still have enjoyment out of, and I still like. So, I think I need to make it out eventually. Maybe not these dates, this go around, but if they're gonna, I know they were on break for military service and whatnot, but if they have a relevantly long, that's not the right word, break, if they have a break that's similar to this past one, knock on wood they don't, but it gives me time to kind of catch up, play catch up a little bit. You guys might see me at the next dates. You guys might see me at the next tour. But yeah, I need to really kind of get back into it.
Economic analysis showed that BTS's last concert in Seoul created nearly as much economic gains as the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in early 2018.
Wow.
It is estimated that roughly 100,000 foreigners came to Korea during that time. That number includes 23,000 foreign fans who came solely to see the concerts and their companions.
24% of ARMY were male, while a clear majority, 76%, were female. 24% were 10 to 19-year-olds, 26% were 20-year-olds, 19% were 30-year-olds, and hold on, this doesn't seem right. 27% were 40 to 49 years old.
Hi, I'm Sam and I'm 34. Hi, I'm Cheryl. I'm just over 50. I'm 56.
I'm 64.
I'm 33. I'm 36 years old. Almost 48 years old.
I'm 44 years old. I have 2 children.
BTS, like...
See, this is just kind of music in general. That's one of the biggest parts of it to me, is that it can mean so much to anyone, no matter the demographic. It's so important. I've always said, like, music is the universal language, whether you understand every lyric or don't. I've still found myself connecting to BTS or other artists alike, of a language I can't understand. I have obviously listened to the songs with translated lyrics and whatnot, and so that gives me like a little edge to it. But also, like, even if I were to turn on something that I can't understand every single word to, you can still feel emotion. You can feel all the things alike, and so that's, yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful thing, to be honest. And that just goes for music in general. It really is the universal language to me. Yeah, I just love music. That's why I have this channel.
Telling everyone to love themselves, to, like, be who you are, and right, and having a group of like musicians and like really talented people talking about like better yourself, love yourself, and become something good in life. It's actually good.
I love the band for their message. They're giving people who are misunderstood the belief that what they're doing is right, and I think that's very important. You should love yourself.
For a group that is such larger than life.
This is Halsey. Why was there just a blank canvas in the back? Why was it just... BTS was on the Is this the Bumblebee movie? Why is there only 3 people right here? And then none of them are talking.
Love the band for their message. They're giving people who are misunderstood the belief that what they're doing is right, and I think that's very important. You should love yourself.
Yeah.
For a group that is such larger than life, that can be so easy to like...
This is Halsey. They have a song together. I actually really like Halsey. I've never listened to any of her albums, but I actually really do like Halsey. Sorry.
They're giving people who are misunderstood the belief that what they're doing is right, and I think that's very important. You should love yourself.
For a group that is such larger than life, that it can be so easy to like dehumanize them. They really do a good job of keeping themselves like really like just natural and humble.
I've never seen a whole concert. It's astonishing. I don't know how they do it. They are amazing performers.
And we load up and we had a blast. We did not. We got out of our seats. We got right down in the pit and broke a sweat dancing.
As a group, BTS has previously teamed up with UNICEF and spoken in front of the UN about the importance of self-love for global youth.
We have learned to love ourselves. So now I urge you to speak yourself.
BTS mission has always been to protect and heal others. BTS company logo, big hit.
방탄이라는 게 이제 총알을 막아낸다는 의미잖아요. 이제 총알처럼 쏟아지는 편견과 억압에서 이제 당당히 저희 세대의 생각과 가치를 지켜내겠다는 그런 심오한 뜻이 담겨 있습니다.
Because it starts to fade. Bangtan means to be resistant to bullets, so it means to block stereotypes, criticisms, and expectations that rain on adolescents like bullets to preserve the values and ideals of today's adolescents. Yeah, they really do have a profound weight of life, and especially with their music and whatnot. That's what I've come to realize. Although everyone's kind of said that their most recent album hasn't gone into their deepest of topics, you know, this is something that they actively, you know, kind of demonstrate. And so I love music like this. You know, I've talked about artists like Lady Gaga on my channel, who, you know, has such a talent for making songs that are so meaningful, but also like so upbeat and so just great at the same time in sense of like sonically. And you know, that's what I've come to see with BTS as well. Although you guys, Army, have said that, you know, like I said, their most recent album isn't the deepest in terms of that. That is one of their most like attractive features to their music, is that. And so I'm definitely very excited to see more of that for sure.
I'm finding how to love myself. You know, I didn't know anything about love myself, but you guys taught me through your eyes, through your love, through your tweets, through your letters, through everything. You guys taught me and inspired me how to love myself. And loving myself is my whole life goal until my death. And you know, what is loving myself? What is loving yourself? I don't know. Who can define their own method and the way of loving myself? It's our mission to define our way to love ourselves.
Think about that for a second. See, that's like philosophical. Very philosophical.
Never intended, but it feels like I'm using you guys to love myself. So I want to say one thing. Please use me. Please use BTS to love yourselves. Because you guys taught me how to love myself every day. Thank you so much. We love you guys.
Wow. Where is this? But wow. I just want to know how many people I'm seeing, to be honest. If anyone knows where that is. Wow. Crazy. Crazy. From flying the streets for their free concert. Look at that. From being the first group from a small company to win a grand prize, to winning all 4 grand prizes in a single night. Wow. Turned a struggling agency into one of the most profitable companies in South Korea. Nobodies who became legends. Wow, full circle moment, right? That's a good shot. But guys, that was the BTS from Nobodies to Legend video. This was actually very insightful, obviously. You know, even with it being 10 minutes long and from the dates of like 2013 to 2019, you obviously, you know, see the hardships. But one thing that the video did not answer for me was kind of the plagiarism and that whole hashtag. Does it, if anyone knows what that's from, please do let me know. That's just something I'm curious about. Like, because, you know, it could be anything. It could be from another group or like a poem, you know, that kind of. So yeah, I'm curious as to where that stems from. That's something I personally have not seen much of within the comments. So yeah, if you guys have anything on that, please let me know. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, guys, that was the BTS from Nobodies to Legends video. Again, thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys did enjoy. But anyways, if you guys did, please do like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I have a special video coming out soon. Deuces, deuces, deuces.